Awesome date, May 2nd, 2011. Awesome topic, MTAC goes to 11. This is the OSMcast. Hey folks, and it's the OSMcast, kind of, sort of.
It's OSMcast renditions.
It's Awesome Rencast-ition Kabara.
That's right, because nobody demanded it, we insisted.
This is our triple-part extravaganza of all things Metal Tennessee Anime Convention 2011. Which is, I think, is this also the 11th con?
Yes.
Yes.
This
Well-
is MTAC 11, or goes to 11, as they like to have it.
And for this first session, we are with the wonderful gentlemen, or dudes, depending on how you think about it.
Gentle dudes.
Gentle dudes
I'm
of
wearing a skirt.
These fine gentlemen
Agaba renditions.
are...
You can tell because of the professional quality we bring to the podcast.
That's right. We do nothing but enhance every podcast we're on.
our frequent con collaborators.
So, I'm
Podcasting
Basil,
friends.
and you are...
I'm Drew.
I'm Richard.
I'm Kevin.
I'm James.
No, he's Mark. He's a liar.
And I'm Brad.
Gee, guys,
Armor
we're the
Texas.
lilies in this thread.
Only not anymore. Our last episode that we released, Brad was moving to
Armor
Texas
Yeah,
for
news.
his job. And then he got a full scholarship to Auburn, so now he's moving back.
He's back in Alabama.
So,
Rama
Sweet
and the
home
Kennedy
Alabama.
brothers are also in the room.
Hey, it's me, Teddy, the youngest.
And me, Bobby. Wait a minute.
With our podcast cast of thousands.
And there's the youngest brother, Barry Kennedy, taking photos.
Of
Barry.
what we cannot say.
Your light is offensive to my scotch dripping eyes. That didn't make any sense.
This is our best
Moving on.
podcast ever.
Forget it. We're going joyriding on the Chappaquiddick Bridge.
Be sure to put that secretary in the back seat.
And by the back seat, I mean the trunk.
Alright, so.
so we're here to talk about MTAC. Specifically, in this part, to talk about what we've been doing at MTAC, because we've been spending most of our convention presenting things. Because we did a lot of panels.
A lot of panels.
I've been presenting.
Well, I did one panel,
I
but
did one.
yeah.
I did
Thanks to
too.
Drew.
Now, guys, we can't record audio hugging, so I can't make you hug it out.
Can't you?
They'll just have to take our word on it.
I'll just have it done off camera. Anyways, do you
You
want
gave
to...
my panel to Mark.
That was my panel to begin with.
No, it wasn't.
Kids, I'll turn this podcast right around.
We could do that, because it's a movable mic. Anyways,
I see.
it would just be really hard to listen to, since all our work would be away from the microphone. So we did panels. They all went really well.
Yes.
Like, every single one of them, I think we more or less packed every one we did.
Yeah, I don't think we've had one that wasn't a full crowd.
Right.
Yes.
And a hot crowd, actually. People
Yeah.
are very excited,
Mm-hmm.
no matter the topic.
I've been
Yeah.
very impressed. And at least, well, maybe that should be saved for stuff that are about panels that we didn't do. But yes, our panels were good.
I've seen an exceptional response from the crowd, even when we spouted total crap.
Which
And boy, did we
may have
ever.
been often. Not saying that, but it could have been possible.
I'm not saying I was making up whole chunks of the Go Nagai panel off the top of my head, but it might have happened.
Yeah, well, I know I researched every single thing. Of course, you know, he used the basis of Wikipedia. Who knows how right it actually is? But by gum, I researched it.
And Drew and I came up with our own half-brain theories for an entire panel,
It's true.
with no base in reality other than our own experiences.
But we were able to defend our dissertation and got past it without being lynched.
Yeah, exactly. Minimal booing.
And we talked about awful robots with research provided by Dave Merrill.
Yes.
It's true.
Awful Robots was awful, but great.
So I guess chronologically, the first one was actually the English Jamboree
Yes.
by myself and Drew.
Yep.
There was a line.
There was a line.
There was a big
There's
line.
been a line for every panel we've done.
The only one that I didn't line was actually my Groove panel because there was no panel before it. They ended that panel. There was a 30-minute buffer.
But it was about half full of people waiting for us to get there.
Yes, and then,
Okay.
and then once I started about 2 minutes in, it then filled up.
Oh, well, that's a very good problem to have.
Yeah. And so it was pretty much we showed English clips.
Yes.
Guys talk about reading off Star Wars scripts in Japanese, old anime,
70s and 80s anime openings.
Lots of Fist of the North Star.
the opening of Toriko, which is wonderfully Englishy, to keep that Shonen Jump spirit alive.
Yes, yes. Sakigake Otokojuku, those couple clips that we always show.
Yeah.
I love
Always
those
good.
clips.
Yeah.
I think those are the two clips we could show that'll never get old.
Probably, yes.
I think if we repeat 2 clips for every show at Infinite,
It's going to be those.
it'll be those. Thankfully, there's tons of Morning Musume to choose from, so we can keep showing those, and they
Yes.
won't get boring.
Yes.
But that's pretty much it. But yeah, a lot of people really liked it. That was the first time when someone went, "Man, this is the first good panel I've been to yet." Which I don't know. Maybe that was actually also their first panel they went to.
That's not hard when it's at 7 a.m. on Friday.
When were we? When
It was like
that?
one,
Two.
two.
So there were a few panels already.
Sure.
A few.
Not me. I think the con officially started at 10.
Yeah.
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 So they had time for 3 panels.
Yeah.
And they don't usually schedule the good ones
No.
first thing in the morning.
No.
But that was a good start. Good crowd. A lot of people willing to listen to you guys show them crazy clips of crazy attempts at English.
Yes.
It's true. And then the next panel, actually chronologically, would be the T panel that Doug did.
Doug! Who is being very quiet.
It's fu-
Oh, am I supposed to?
If you would like to talk
Yeah,
about
if you
your
want to say
panel,
anything about the T panel.
because we're covering
now's
just the
your
panels
time.
that we've done.
Not like you've never been on this thing before.
This is a panel
Okay.
all about Mr. T.
Yeah, it was all about Mr. T.
And now he hasn't
How
got time for your
badass he is.
jibber jabber.
Yeah.
That's right.
Throw a
Drink your
fool
milk,
hella
kids.
far.
Can't get on no plane, Hannibal. And,
No way, no how.
He's tired of Murdoch's Jibba Jabba.
And him with sugar's actually okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's good with sugar. Well, actually, it was about
Drink your milk, kids.
tea and about tea drinking. I briefly touched on the history of tea, and I talked more this time about how tea is actually made and the differences between the different varieties for people who didn't know.
We're talking about leaf juice, right?
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about dirty leaf water.
Okay.
Yeah. When it was run last year, it was more about the history, and I found it very informative. And I found it more informative this year because it was more about the making.
Yeah, and hopefully next year I'll do it again, and I'll do it about something different. Maybe next year I'll finally actually talk about the details of the tea ceremony instead of just running through it real quick.
Forgetting you said you were going to do it till the last minute.
Yeah, instead of forgetting I was going to do it. Maybe I'll make it the focus of next year. But anyway, it was pretty good. The room was filled. They did put me in a smaller room than I was in last year, but at the same time, they put me in a better time slot than I was in last year.
You were really early last
I
year.
was the second panel of the convention last year. So a lot of people probably weren't actually doing panels, but it was in a better spot, and I liked it. And I think most of the people had a real good time in my panel.
Oh yeah.
There was one guy that kept trying to show me up, and I kept trying to be like, "Dude, it's not a competition. We're sharing tea information. Come
Dude.
up here and."
His tea dick is way bigger than yours.
I know. I get so pissed off about everybody's dick is bigger than mine.
But it's so ill prepared, so it's okay.
Look, sometimes you just
It
gotta
probably doesn't taste very
put it
good.
down.
Oh, but
Are we still talking about tea?
Yeah.
yeah, teabagging.
Yeah, there's a...
That involves the balls. That involves the balls.
She can lip bag. It's cool.
Well, somebody did ask a very good question about what kind of tea bags are best used, so we're still relevant here.
The kind with holes in them. Mini hole.
Did you start giggling? Kind of tea bag's best used.
The ones on Xbox Live, obviously.
I prefer the classic Counter-Strike teabag strategy.
But no, it was very fun, and I had a lot of fun running it.
boxy guts.
And I'm going to have to probably run more panels next year, because they gave me guff about giving me my press badge.
Yeah, the thing with the 3
My presenter
hours
badge.
of
Did you pee in their butt?
programming.
What?
Did you pee in their butt when they gave you guff?
No.
Do it next time. Pee in their butt. Solves everything.
Okay, but that was my T panel. And then I guess what was the next panel, David?
I think it was D-List.
Yes.
Life on the Mecha D list.
Super Robot D-List.
Yep. Richard and I did this panel. We first premiered this panel at AWA last September with Dave Merrill, but unfortunately because Dave lives in the YYZ, he couldn't make it down to Nashville. So Richard and I compiled some notes that we obtained from him, got some clips together, and then hosted an hour of fun of really terrible, shitty robots.
Dave Merrill was there in spirit,
He
if
lives
not
in
in
the
body.
YYZ?
Yes.
At least he's not in the YUC.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and I finally learned for sure that Gengeyser is the Boku no Pico of mecha shows.
No. Boku no Pico has watchability in class.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Boku no Pico of Mecha Shows is when we commissioned artwork for Drew of
Yes.
Gunbuster raping Ava Unit 1 in the butt.
Yep.
Yes. But
Can I
yeah,
contribute to that?
the shows range from the mediocre and the dull to the exceedingly painful to watch.
Right.
Looking at you, J9. Looking at you.
Yeah.
Hey, if they made it in Super Robot Wars at least once.
They've all been in Super Robot Wars except for Gengeyser. That doesn't count. They'll put anything in.
So that's pretty much the D list.
It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun to watch.
I think next up would have been hacking.
You guys, you hacked before going to guy.
I hacked before going to guy.
We hacked the Gibson.
And they were hacks, all right.
Yeah.
Dum-sh.
Yeah. So this is a panel that Mark and I did at MTAC last year, and we also ran it at AWA back in September. This is a fact or fiction sort of look at computer security topics and portrayals of hacking in Japanese animation. Take a few series, throw some clips up, and then go through some technical rationalities or declare something to be absolute garbage and bullshit.
The humor of how silly it is versus how oddly at random moments they get it completely right.
Exactly. And then we take random questions from the audience that range from asinine questions of derp, how do I press any key, to, hey, if you were to hack this, hey, we don't hack. If you were to hack this, we don't hack. Hey, have you ever hacked something? We don't hack. Stop asking us.
Well,
We're not going to tell you. No, that's it. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, I didn't catch it this year, but I caught it last year, and I liked that panel.
It's good fun.
It seemed mostly some of the. Well, at least when I walked in at the end, it seemed like some of the similar content.
Yes. Yeah.
I find it interesting that the whole power grid thing, because apparently that's been a real big thing in the news, actually.
Yep.
It's a lot of, it was like, you really need to look at your power grids, guys, because they are not protected.
It's a lot of fun to watch people's faces when we're like, no, this actually happens. They're like, oh. We're like,
Yeah.
Take that to bed with you.
Yeah.
Oh, and the music is kicking up outside.
And now we have a soundtrack to go behind us.
Well, I guess you don't need anything for this part, James.
That's some goddamn sound.
There's a lot more music at this convention that it's been...
It's
Yeah.
MTAC goes to 11. The theme is rocking out,
yeah.
which is better than last year, the Odyssey, where we suffered the wrath of Poseidon.
Yes.
Okay.
It was an oddly appropriately named con.
Yeah.
And speaking of rocking out, the next panel was the Going to Guy panel
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that Kevin and I ran, which we...
Wow, that had a ton of favorable response. I was shocked.
It did.
People love Uncle Go.
He
like-
touches you in inappropriate places, but you like it.
It's true, and we started from we covered what we consider the 4 bases, which was giant robots, bloody mayhem, awesome chicks, and dumbass humor. And so we covered the original stuff like Basinger, Devilman, Shameless School.
That was like a special kind of loud.
Yeah,
It is a special kind
Yeah,
of
it's like
loud.
being at our table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. A lot of people learned about more of the Go to Guy than they knew, which is excellent. And a lot of people didn't apparently know who Go to Guy was, but want to know who he is now.
Really?
Yeah.
So you actually had people who
People
walked
didn't
into
know who Go
a
Nagai
panel
was?
about
Go
Go
Nagai.
Nagai, not knowing who Go Nagai was.
Yep.
But came out wanting to know about him.
Right,
when they were
right.
done. Yeah. But yeah, they came in. Apparently, they were like, I'm hoping maybe the anime's creepy uncle line is what does it.
Okay.
You also did expose after the panel was over, I talked to some of the other girls that were in the audience, and a couple of them actually were really turned on to Cutie Honey.
Oh yeah.
Like a bunch of them had never even heard of it, but again, Cutie Honey's really awesome, and consistently girls like it.
I love to pimp Cutie Honey out to the women because in my history, bizarrely enough, inevitably my female friends seem to like Cutie Honey more than the guys.
Which you don't expect, considering that it's a show that features a woman parading around half naked most of the time.
But she's also a badass.
Well, hilariously enough, apparently, Cutie Honey was originally going to be Go Nagai's shoujo manga, and it was turned down by the shoujo magazines. So he actually had to pitch it to the Shonen magazines in order to get it run.
And a version of it later was done in a shoujo magazine, but that was Go Nagai. It went off really well. I think that was it for yesterday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So all was left was Saturday, which was 2 panels. Because I had one, y'all had one?
Yes.
And y'all was being an adult
Yep.
in fandom today.
Yep.
Which we couldn't even sit in on because we got there late and it was standing room only.
And the standing room was filled.
Yeah.
Like,
We could not put any more people in.
Yeah, we made sure every seat was occupied.
And then people sat in the aisles and stood in the back.
Yep.
We basically made inappropriate comments and had an extremely candid conversation about why people need to grow the fuck up and remember their cartoons.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a way better response than we expected.
Oh yeah, we honestly expected not to make it out of this panel due to being lynched.
And people loved it.
A lot of people had a really good time with it.
They laughed their asses off.
Some of the jokes didn't quite get across the way we wanted them to.
My Agile joke was great, man.
Yeah.
Fuck all of them.
But no, it was a very good panel, very frank discussion, a lot of audience interaction and participation, which is different than panels we normally run where
Yeah, it's a lot of presentation.
it's more presentation.
Some people had a hard time with the frankness, and it took some getting used to us as presenters.
Yes, yeah. I think once we started doing more of the self-deprecating humor, and making fun of ourselves up there as
so they realized we
presenters,
weren't being preachy jackasses.
Right, they loosened up a lot.
so what was one of the topics you actually talked about at the panel?
One of the ones I was really proud of is Drew and I came up with the fandom development life cycle.
Yeah.
The process by which people get into fandom and the stages where their fandom lives, and you move from discovery to community, or discovery to immersion to community outreach to focused immersion to genre community outreach, or to community contribution.
Yeah.
And you can define where somebody is in their fandom based on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we're going to apply that to anything, but it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then the final panel we did was my panel, which was Getting Your Anime Groove Back, which is a really slyly titled Basil Recommends Anime panel.
Okay.
Well, the whole idea is that many times in a fan's development, they will experience burnout.
Yes.
And usually what happens is they don't know what shows to watch anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They watch a bunch of crap, and they decide that obviously all anime is crap now.
I have to get a new hobby.
I need a new hobby. And so what I try to focus on for this recommendation panel is some of the stuff that might be not the best anime you've never heard of, but anime that is existing and recently to the cutting edge, so even to back in the day, that's probably something you didn't pay attention to when it was coming out, but is worth looking into.
Yeah, and I've also seen you run this at MomoCon, and both times there's been a show that people has kept coming up and asking, what was that show? What was that show? What was the name of that show?
Well, you do see it a lot, especially if you've been a fan of anime for a long
Yeah.
time. You see people who just go, well, all this new stuff is crap. And then if you go, well, what about this show? Well, what about this show? And a lot of times they just haven't even heard of
At
it.
MomoCon, it was Jellyfish Princess. People kept asking, what the hell was that? What was the name of that show? This one, it was Zakuro.
Otome Yokai Zakura.
Like 12 people kept asking, what was the name of that show? What was the name of that show? It was...
Every season there's hidden gems to be found. Most of what comes out is sort of the same generic mass market anime that comes out, but there are always some interesting works in there. Just weird concepts, or just
DMC was that when I found it. I was like, what the fuck? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of anime series that when they come out,
They kind of get lost.
The initial episode isn't so good, so you might not look at them, but
Yeah.
but they really come into their own in the later episodes.
They get lost in the torrent of torrents, if you will.
Well, yeah. I mean, nowadays, back in the day, what we got was what we got. And there was sort of an artificial filter of the anime companies only bringing out what they considered the best and what would actually sell.
The best and the most marketable.
Now, in the days of online streaming
and torrenting,
you can pretty much, if you want to, watch any show that's come out in Japan.
More or less.
Often within a day of it actually airing.
Which means you're getting all the good stuff and all the crap.
Yes.
And so it's kind of good to have these kind of, recommendation shows to help cut through the crap.
What I recommend people do, something I like to do every season, or every big season, is download the first episode of a lot of different things and try it out. See, well, is this going to be any good? Maybe give it the first episode, and if it even catches your interest, maybe give it the second. And if you don't like a show, just stop watching it.
Yeah.
And so far,
you don't have to finish what you're watching.
Oh yeah,
this past couple of seasons,
I
stuff I was expecting I would like, I really liked. For example, Tiger and Bunny.
Tiger and Bunny is great.
Is my favorite show of the new season.
Well, yeah, I saw the first episode of that, and I'm like, Basil, Tiger and Bunny, most promising show I've seen so far.
Which one is Tiger and Bunny?
Tiger and Bunny.
It's
about
the
superheroes.
superhero reality TV show.
It's the second best show airing the season, after Kaiji Season 2. Kaiji is fucking awesome.
Kaiji is awesome, but it's one of the hardest sells to sell to anime fans.
You either gotta
because the art style is very retro, and it's very angular. Secondly, it's about gambling, but it's a very slow burn.
Well, it's not so much about gambling as much as it is. Well, I mean, it is, but about losing at gambling and winning at gambling.
Right,
and
but
digging yourself in a giant hole and having to gamble to get back out. It's a strange series that doesn't glorify the subject matter in any way.
No, it's really easy to get turned off of it.
I've never known anybody that I've showed it to who didn't fucking love it though.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at it and you go, but most of the time you sit down and watch it.
If they
this
actually
is
watch
cool.
episodes, give it a chance, it usually works. But the trick is selling it to them.
Well, to be fair, I don't try to sell to your average. I watch whatever's on Cartoon Network fan, or I don't bother trying to do it. It's other people who I think might like it. I'll try to pitch it to.
But when you get to cons, that's who you're pitching it to. So that's why I sort of try to get not off the wall stuff, but interesting stuff that they should catch, but I think would work. So I think would actually sell in America. Some of it, is being streamed, some of it's not at all. But I think all of that I showed, I think they could sell it in America, market it, and it would actually turn a profit. But those were our panels. And we had fun. I got the most response from these panels that I've ever gotten at a convention before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hands down.
Yeah, for whatever reason, this year the people going to the panels were much more into it.
Yeah.
They interacted more. They were just excited to be there. They came to ask questions after the panel.
Right. Just ate that shit up left and right.
I don't know if you guys noticed it, but it seemed to me like a lot of the people going in the panels that I attended were almost an older audience.
Okay, so one of our panels was for being an adult fan,
Well,
so that's not exactly. We're not going to be
I'm
able
not
to barometer
counting.
on
I'm
that
not
one.
even counting that one. I'm counting like the Gona Guy panel, the T panel, like a couple of the other ones I went to. They just seemed like the people who attending the panels were a lot older, and a bunch of the kids were standing out in the hall.
Yeah.
I think for the D-list when we did it,
Yeah, we had a fairly younger crowd.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was kind of that age range I expected, though, that late teens to early 20s crowd.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
Kids who like robots.
I saw Gundam 00 and Gundam Seed, and hey, those were cool. Wow, MTAC D-list. What is this? Check it out, and I've never seen anything that stupid looking.
Stick around, there's more.
I had people asking, stopping me in the hallway to ask, "What was that show? That one that he went down into hell and he killed Satan?"
All right, so
Yeah.
there's a backstory on that one. Should I tell the whole backstory of that one?
Go for it.
So we're trucking down the hall trying to get somewhere, and literally a midget grabs Richard by the arm and asks him about this show. And the look on Richard's face of, Jesus Christ, I haven't even drank that much. What is this crap?
Yeah. I can't believe this is happening. Oh God, oh God.
It could not have been more fun.
The answer to the question is God knows. Rokushingatai, God knows.
But yeah, the crowds have been, at least for our panels, were amazing.
Yes.
So I have to ask, has anyone besides me been to a panel that none of us were running?
I haven't had time.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I've been running my own promotion
Yeah.
convention panel.
I've been to panels that Mark and Drew, and I think I stopped in at one of your panels, but that's it. Nobody else's.
Yeah, it's that's the sad truth. This time we were very, very
Busy.
Yeah, I'm not
Busy.
sure. I deliberately made an effort to check out the Gundam panel because it was a guy from 2 years ago that had an absolutely horrible panel.
Did he do the same panel this year?
More or less. I'd argue it's improved. That's not saying it's
Still
good.
told as Shar in first person.
He almost avoided it, but he did slip into it at points.
Well, you know what? At least give him credit for trying to not do it.
Yeah. God bless the 4 or 5 people
Yeah.
who are trolling the hell out of that panel.
I did get stopped in the hole earlier, and got asked why we weren't doing the Gundam panel again this year, and because we didn't put in for it. But still,
Right.
apparently,
Yeah, he could not get the TV to work for him. It was funny.
A lot of people have that issue, which I don't. I guess they're not used to working with electronics, because
Yeah.
I never had a single issue.
We had an audio issue during our hacking one, but
Ended up being Drew's fault.
yeah, you
Yes.
turned the volume down on your computer.
yeah. Derp, derp, derp.
And so that's it. That was our panels at MTAC.
Yeah, panel.
So y'all are now on a podcast. How do you feel?
Sexy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great.
Tired.
I'm not tired at all. I don't know what the hell's wrong with these people.
So what are some names? What are some names?
Taylor.
I'm Luke.
I'm Mariah.
So how has MTAC been for you so far?
Sexy.
Oh, it's been great every year, man.
I love it. I love the costumes. It's really
So what's been your favorite thing so far this year?
Yaoi porn.
My favorite thing has definitely been that guy. I'm not sure where it's from, but he had a full set of armor on. It looked just badass. I mean, he really made it really well.
I went with the first guy to yaoi porn, so I guess yaoi porn.
Were there actually dicks involved for once this time?
And rape.
I didn't understand the question.
So what kind of rape was it?
Non-consensual and very sweet.
How does that work?
Alcohol and roofies.
You only need one of those. I don't think you need both. Seriously.
I didn't even.
So how do you feel about alcohol and roofies?
Well, now they
I like them. I like them. Maybe a headache afterwards, but
Had to walk up, diarrhea.
So you're telling me you would be opposed to using them on yourself or other people?
it depends. It really does.
If someone was just really ugly and you had to get through it, is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe, yeah.
I have a couple in my pocket.
So what are you looking forward to later on at the convention, possibly tomorrow?
The yaoi they're showing tomorrow night.
I'm looking forward to dress on for the cosplay competition.
I'm just following these guys. Yeah, same thing they were doing.
What are you dressing up for the cosplay contest?
Someone from the Scarlet Monastery from WoW.
So how long did you take to make the costume?
It took about 3 weeks to make all the costumes. I had to make every one of them.
So you're hoping you have a good shot at it?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna have. It's a group costume thing. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be at least number
We're going to
two.
be in the teens.
Yeah,
High teens.
Well, good luck and enjoy the rest of the con.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So you are the last two people in line for this gigantic line. How does that feel?
Oh, well, long way
Pretty
ahead.
crappy. I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty crappy.
So let me get some names.
I'm Evan Smith.
Aaron Height.
So why didn't you get here sooner?
We were waiting on these guys.
They were so late.
Why aren't you late, man? Did you also go to Walmart, or I mean,
No, we had to wait for them.
why couldn't you get in line to save the place?
We don't like them well enough.
Well, this isn't for them; it's for you. I mean, come on, you got to have some foresight here.
We just didn't think about it beforehand.
Like, you really can't blame them for a decision that you could have made yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
your
your
responsibility over there.
Responsibility.
It's your fault.
We got lost, and then we stole some internet access.
Now, do you really have to go to a risque cosplay contest? Can't you just check Suicide Girls or something?
We could, but
Probably.
internet's going to cost us.
Yeah.
It's not free at our hotel room.
Nope, it's not. And I just turned 18, so I'm excited.
So what have you been enjoying so far at the convention before this?
Some music, a lot of things.
Went to the
Been-
Minecraft forum, so
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Minecraft forum was really awesome.
Now, Minecraft has absolutely nothing to do with anime or manga or even Japanese video games at all. Why the hell was this panel here at this convention?
Big video game name, so now.
I don't know. I was just there.
Nobody knows why it won the what's that magazine? The Escapist magazine. It came out of nowhere and beat Valve and BioWare.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
But did you enjoy the panel?
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty nice, yeah. It was pretty good.
Good videos.
What was the most favorite thing that you've made so far in Minecraft?
I made a floating island.
He has
Modded
the
it after that
awful
guy.
castle. He has the craziest castle.
Not me.
So how crazy is your castle?
I can't even remember the size of it. It's huge. Surrounded by a gigantic wall, and I made a dragon head on it, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
Now, did you do this brick by brick, or did you use any alternate programs to help you through it?
Brick by brick.
He did it the hard way.
So what are you looking forward to later on in the convention?
Seeing everybody dress up. I'm actually going to dress up tomorrow, later.
Oh, what you dressing up for? Dressing up as, really?
No, just general dress up, so.
Yeah, the rave. It ought to be fun.
Definitely the rave.
Well, I hope you have fun at the rave and at this contest and enjoy the rest of the con.
We're going to get in line a lot sooner for the rave. We're going to be here like an hour early.
I do a podcast, which will now eventually be on. I usually try to interview the people near the front and near the end of the line, both for the end people so they have someone to talk to while they wait forever for the stage to start. I know this is late anyways because it's always late. Because it's a late night event, so things, when stuff gets delayed, it's the last thing to get delayed in response. So, good luck. Well, I guess, no, I asked the line actually back there.
Yeah.
Crap, you're not the last people at all. Dadgummit.
I think it grew. We were.
while we were standing
It grew.
I did, so let me go grab them now. Well, hello. So you are actually the last person in line for this thing.
Pretty much, yeah. We're
I am
actually
now.
the last people. We walked about 3 miles to get here. I don't know. It's like one of those looping background games. I saw the same building like 4 times.
We're gonna end up like up the stairs, looping up through all the floors.
Yeah.
So what are some names?
Some names are Bob, George.
What's your name?
Oh, my name is Caleb.
Jojo.
So how has the convention been so far until the 3 miles of trek?
The event has been fantastic. I just kind of took a break from it because I got kind of tired. So I went back to my hotel. But, I was over here earlier, tried out the little cafe that was down there. It was pretty nice.
Needs more rock band.
I will agree that it needs more rock band.
So what's been your favorite event so far?
Well, I actually haven't been into any legitimate events yet. This will be my first, this risque cosplay.
I really like the zombie panel a lot.
Sure, man.
Now, did it mention any actual zombies that were in an anime in the panel, or was it just zombies in general?
I should get a wristband since I'm 18 and older, and I'm in the 18 and older
Zombies
line.
in general.
Probably.
Zombies in general, I would say. Are we, not technically in line?
I think the line just skipped out on you, so. Well, good luck. Have a good convention.
All right, you too, man.
And we are back with our second part of the wonderful MTAC extravaganza, the podcast that goes to 11. And we're here now with the Chainsaw Buffet guys.
What up? Hello.
So let's get some names.
I'm John. Charlie. Dylan.
And so since, as you notice in the first part of this podcast, us OSMcast people were busy running panels all weekend. So we're really having a chance to experience the con itself. Thankfully, we have these guys. So, how's been the con for y'all?
Pretty good. This has been an interesting MTAC for us because last year
we did nothing.
Well, yeah, we
Yes.
did nothing at the convention itself. It was all interviews, media room. We lived there. This year is different because we've done a lot of interviews over the last few months on Skype, both just regular interviews and the stuff we're doing with Voices for Japan. And so this year we haven't really set foot in the media room because we're hoping to do some interviews with like the Slants and the Manpower and some other guys later tonight. But this is Saturday night, so this is going to be the first time we've even had the chance to do an interview with anybody. But it's been different because we've been going to panels of folks that we've hung out with in the past. Unfortunately, we haven't met any of you guys, which makes us real douchebags. But
I went to getting your anime group back.
Okay, well, Dylan's not a douchebag.
The rest of us.
I'm a tremendous asshat.
I am too.
Because I've been to like everybody else's panel. I went to the Manpower's panel and the Slants panel, and went to the voice actor extravaganza. But Basil was in there, but we were like way apart because he was in the front of the line and I was in the back of the room. But it was interesting because. We'd had Tara Platt and Yuri Lowenthal on the podcast a couple of times before MTAC, and so we actually finally got to meet them in person, and they were super duper nice, and it was really nice for us. So it's been really different. I wouldn't say it's the normal con going experience for other folks, I guess.
So you went to panels. Tell us about the panels.
The panels I went to were actually really pretty good, and I think Charlie and Dylan and I all went to... We had some in common, but we all went to really different panels. The Slants had one about music recording and editing. It was sort of high-end stuff, which, as a podcaster, there are certain elements that weren't applicable, but there were still things that they introduced that were neat because we're complete amateurs and don't do anything professionally. So it was neat to hear... some of the aspects of that. Trying to remember.
It's neat to hear what goes into production of a CD.
Exactly.
They had kind of, they were talking about how you would do it, and it's not just going in and playing a bunch of music and just, recording it directly onto a finished track.
Yeah. Kind of thing of some of the other stuff. I said the voice actor extravaganza, and that was. Mm-hmm. Same old bullshit as always. Hey, can you say the line from bar to bar? Hey, if you guys are those guys, screw you, man. Screw you. If you want to hear the line, go buy the fucking DVD and watch it. That is my advice to you.
Thankfully, Tara Platt was there to regulate.
Yes, Tara Platt. She's a regulator.
Thank God for her.
Like seriously, this is one panel I went to that wasn't my own, and it started off where Vic's doing his Vic thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey guys, I'm Vic Manana. Woohoo!
I'm girl.
I did Elric.
Oh my God!
I did Tamaki. Oh my God! Wouldn't it be great if there was more host club? Yay! Ignoring the fact that he has no power at all to make sure that this would ever happen.
Right.
As he's just a paid schmo who gets to do a job where he makes voices. And act out characters, which is a cool job, but it doesn't mean you get to create anime.
Yeah, and after the second, hey, can we have a fight between Broly and Sasuke? Or no, I'm sorry. The guy said Sosuke because there's an O in Sasuke.
All those Naruto characters.
Naruto. Anyway, there was like. Well, how about this? How about we have a line here, and you guys, if you have any questions about voice acting,
an actual production.
Yeah, basically saying, how about we cut the bullshit out, and if you have like legitimate questions, you can go up here and ask them, but stop doing this bullshit about asking us to voice your fanfic. Because that's what they want, right? They want them to say stuff from a bridge series and their fanfic and their romantic pairings that never happened. So
yeah, I won't disagree with that.
They want to have they want to see Ed Elric and Sasuke have sex and
yeah,
I guarantee you,
Yuri's married.
That room
Yuri Lowenthal is married, and he's
to a wonderful woman who regulated the panel. We got actual, questions asked and actual questions answered.
Yeah, Tara Platt, I love her so much. If you're listening, Tara, I want to have your babies.
So how was the Manpower panel? Because I heard it was about anime, but not quite. Or
it was about anime you should see. So it was kind of one of those panels where, and these are panels that I normally don't enjoy because it's like these are the anime that I like, and it's very subjective and there's very little discussion. But Chris and Cody actually did a really nice job with it because, for one, Chris and Cody have very, very different tastes in anime because Cody Warhammer is a big girl and likes Clannad After Story and The Wallflower and Orin Host Club.
He also likes DBZ, so, you know.
Yeah, but...
There are girls that like DBZ.
Some of his suggestions, the way he described them, I may have to look into.
Hey, now...
I may be completely wrong.
Now listen. The Manpower are responsible for so much of the success that Chainsaw Buffet has had. So I love them dearly. They're close friends of ours. But come on, Cody. Come on, man. That's all I'm saying. I love you, Cody. Love you just the way you are, but hey, come on, man.
But at least attempted to
I love you just the way you are, except for, you know...
The things I don't like.
Except for the one thing that... Except for the fact that you're a big girl.
Change for my approval?
Yes, change for... Not really. But like I was saying, it was actually interesting. And they... You know, if you guys have ever seen the Manpower or met them in person, they're very energetic, they're very engaging, and they're very fun. It wasn't just like, well, I like this show. It wasn't FanLink. Basically, you know, they're discussing and you know, getting up in my wife's face saying, don't laugh, which was making her laugh even more. It was funny shit.
Do not sit in the front.
Yeah.
Totally sit in the front because that's the best fucking place to be.
So what other panels did y'all go to possibly, or individually, or whatnot?
Let's see. Went to the songwriting panel, or I didn't catch. I don't think I caught the whole thing. I caught part of it with Simon Young and who was with him? Blanking, maybe.
Was
Johnny.
it the drummer? Was it Johnny or Tyler or?
I think it was Johnny.
So now are you a master songsmith now? Can you?
Yes. No, but I did get a few resources that just for the hell of it I might look up. But it's interesting to see their process because every band does it differently. So it's but I like their work, so it's kind of cool to see how they do it. That was pretty cool. Went to what was supposed to be the Slants Q&A.
Wow.
Which we ended up helping because Sonny, the MTAC's music director, said, hey, you know, they had to do sound check because I don't even think they knew before.
No, we had originally thought we might be able to get them on the podcast at 2 before their Q&A. Then they found out they had to do sound check at 2. So, and then the sound check ran into 3 when their Q&A was. So we're waiting around and anyway.
But Sonny was there and she's like, well, I'll tell you what, you know, I've toured. You know, I've been on tour with the Manpower and. You know, Chris has played with them a bunch of times. And, you know, we've got the Chainsaw Buffet guys here. They've interviewed them. So, yeah, we asked a few questions, and the audience asked a bunch of questions, and it was fun.
Yeah. So basically, Chris Sex and Sonny did the Slants Q&A session
with us semi-mediating.
So this is kind of like the one time I went to AWA, and I went to AWO's podcast panel. It was the podcast about AWO, and it was ran by the Ninja Consultants. Because the AWO guys were at another panel that they were obligated to be at with I forget which one. It was one of the really big anime directors who you normally never see in America ever. They're like, well, we can help do this like we wanted to, and skip our panel, or we go to our panel and miss this one in a lifetime chance. Yeah, sorry guys, we're going to it.
That's not even the decision.
Like, I forget what his name is, but if it was the choice, I would have made the exact same choice.
Cake or death.
You know, and so it was kind of weird when I went to it. I'm like, these guys do not sound like AWO. Because I got way through it like halfway through already when it started because I was running late that morning. And I'm like, people sound weird. I don't... And then Daryl walked, and where's Daryl? Because I knew who Daryl was. I met him before.
I was about to say, you know, if you've been to AWA, you've at least seen Daryl a few times.
Well, I knew Daryl before. I knew Daryl, at least of Daryl, before AWO. And I met him before there was an OSMcast. In fact, this panel was before the OSMcast existed. And I'm like, this is really weird. And then Daryl walks in and goes, I apologize. I'm sorry we're not here. And this is why. I'm like, oh, that was somebody else. Huh. Next. Man, I could run a podcast panel about another podcast if I just had to be a podcast. Maybe I should be a podcast, and thus OSMcast was born.
Awesome.
But that's
that's cool.
that's a side story. Well, I was sort of debating on doing one before then. That sort of just sealed the deal.
The story sounded better when you didn't put that note in. Take that out. It would be much more epic.
Just edit
It's
it out.
always more complicated.
Remember, you are authoring your own legend.
It's true. Anyways, that's my side note. So, is there any other panels besides my wondrous one?
We did go to the kind of corners.
Oh yeah.
How was that?
It was
a madhouse.
It was a madhouse. And if you guys have ever listened to their podcast, that shouldn't surprise anyone. There was one really cool part at the beginning. Our podcast was involved in the Anime Fans Get Back to Japan event, along with the Ass Backwards Anime podcast, and they had Doctor. He's been around. I don't know if you guys have met him. He's a cool guy. He was there, and they were involved in that event as well. And Gara Richie, who runs the Kanal Corner podcast, had decided he was going to try and do a video to promote all the podcasts that were involved with it, including our own. And he wrote it like a Toonami promo. And then he came to me because apparently if you ever want to find out how to contact a voice actor and get them on your podcast, I'm apparently the go-to guy for these kind of things. I don't know why. It might be because Crispin Freeman's going to be on our podcast on Sunday, and maybe if you guys listen to it, you'll find out something new about him smuggling art and Prague. But anyway, I digress.
Just side note, real quick. This is going up on May 2nd. So that podcast is already up before this one is going up.
So go
Good
check
news.
it out.
It's already there.
Yeah, magic. Anyway, he asked me for Steve Bloom's email, which I gave to him. Business email, obviously. He said you can Google it. My secret is Google.
Again, one of those notes that you just.
The story's better without it.
Keep going. So.
Well, he emailed him and said, "Hey, I'm doing this video to promote Anime Fans Get Back to Japan." And Steve was on that event, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll be happy to record." So he recorded a Toonami promo as Tom, although he didn't say the name, obviously.
Right.
But did this whole thing, so you'll hear him talking about the One Piece podcast and Kanal Corner and Ass Backwards and Chainsaw Buffet, which was just really badass hearing Steve Bloom say, and the Chainsaw Buffet podcast. I'm like, fuck yeah! So,
and then the rest of the panel was Gothic Gara trying his damnedest and failing to keep order. And what's great was his little brother was the cameraman in the back, and he was probably the worst part of it.
He was a heckler.
He was heckling his brother.
Yeah, I think I accidentally interviewed him in the line to the voice actors extravaganza.
Accidentally, like you didn't mean to?
Well, I was talking to these people, and he was there, so I interviewed him, and it's like, I'm God, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Well, I didn't want to tell them that one of our promos is about how much Naruto sucks. I feel kind of bad, so I'm not going to mention that. But here's my podcast card anyways.
Well, listen, Gar doesn't like Evangelion, so I'm not a huge fan of Naruto, and we still hang out. It's fine, we don't see that.
We can get past our differences. It's all about the love.
The podcasting group, we've got a great big family with you guys and Ass Backwards and Kanal Corner. And if you want to be part of the family too, just email podcast@chainsawbuffet.com.
For some reason.
So, was that for the panels, or was there any more?
Chinese or the Japanese cooking one. We went to that one, the how to make Japanese food at home. That one was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very, the guy who did it was very familiar with Alton Brown, and he put a lot into the setup.
Yeah.
Here's what equipment you need.
The guy put a lot of work into it, which was very cool. I mean, it showed, which was nice.
And, I don't know, it's interesting, because I tend to be a lot on the lower end scale when I do any cooking. So,
except for the number of dishes used. If you've ever seen Dylan cook, it's like, here's 13 plates. I don't know how he does it. Anyway, I'm just screaming Dylan on the podcast. That's unfair. And I also remembered we went to the Blue Grade panel because
I forgot about that.
The what panel?
Blue Grade, because Chris from the Manpower has a side band with a hot geeky chick, and it's called Blue Grade. So
Ah.
he can basically open for himself now.
Yeah.
But I was that guy at the Blue Grade panel.
He encouraged us to be.
Yeah,
that,
rule number one, and this is the rule that everyone in the Chainsaw Buffet lives by. We do not be that guy.
True.
And if you've ever been to a convention, if you've ever been in a panel, you know who that guy is. And if you don't, God help you, you are probably that guy. I don't think I should have to explain what that guy is. You know.
Yeah.
So we strive not to be that guy. And in that
Well,
panel-
actually, if you know, in some panels, maybe if you are that guy, it helps. Mwah.
And that, yeah, that's...
In this one, it kind of did.
That is succinct.
Yes.
A succinct definition. But we all ended up, I think, being that guy. But this is the one panel I've ever been to where you were pretty much encouraged to be that guy.
Well, it's one of those things because nobody knows who Blue Grade is yet because they hadn't even performed. They don't have a CD out yet or anything.
Yeah, I think this convention was their very first
public performance.
Yeah. Because she lives in Huntsville, he lives in Nashville.
And
so
it's a
they're
very
kind of
new-
going... It's a lot of over the internet and going back and forth trying to write music and not necessarily being in the same room. So
Yeah, and it's still a very, very relatively new project. But you know, we had gone to dinner with Chris and Cody and Lionel the night before at a place about, I don't know, 20-25 minutes from here called Arigato Sayonara.
Which is a great place.
It's a tremendously good place if you're ever in I think it's Madison.
Yeah, Madison, Tennessee.
Yeah, it's in the Madison area. But yeah, we hung out with him for a while. We had dinner. We went to Walmart because Chris had to buy some stuff. So I was asking questions like, hey Chris, you know, did you ever go by Kroger to buy that razor you forgot at Walmart last night? Or hey Mia, why didn't you go to dinner with us? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, nobody was asking questions, so we had to do something.
It was one of those things where, you know, people might not have walked away with much, but they probably at least had a good time. And if somebody said, hey, how was the Blue Grade panel? They would have said their friends, yeah, it was fun, and maybe they'll check it out. So guys, check out Blue Grade, check out the Manpower, and check out the Slants, because those guys are
It
awesome.
kind of sounds like one time at OhioCon. This was my first panels ever. For whatever reason, they gave us a podcasting panel with the OSMcast, which is a panel about podcasting, where it was us talking about stuff. And at that time, you know, we have a lot more listeners now than we had then. But even now, I don't know how many of them honestly live in Ohio.
Yeah.
And so I get there, and it was like, then suddenly 5 people show up. 1 listened.
Right.
The other 5 were just like, we don't know what this is. What's podcasting? And by the time, let me tell you, this room was huge. This room could fit like 200 people. I had, at the end of it, 15. And it was more or less me just talking to them about whatever. And they're like, so how was the drive up? Isn't it cold out there?
I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb.
You bonded in your mutual awkwardness.
Like, it was like, so what anime do you watch? I'm like, well, I watch this anime. What anime do you watch? Oh, well, that sucks. You should watch this one instead. And we're like, oh, okay. You know.
If it makes you feel any better, Basil, you probably had more random people stumble into that panel than we have actual listeners. And we're trying, damn it.
Yeah.
That's true.
But regardless, talking about music people, this has been a very music-heavy convention.
Yes.
We've
only seen, I've only seen a handful.
I think that's interesting because
17.
we do have this public perception, and I see where we got it, as being the music podcast. Because, you know, that's how we started out was, you know, we met Chris and the Slants the first time they were over at MTAC. It was the same year.
Those were our first interviews. So.
Well, yeah, they were our first interviews, and that's kind of how we got the ball rolling and doing what we're doing now. Because it's one of those things. If you're gonna do interviews, you have to start with somebody who's willing to say, "Yeah, I'll talk to you," even though I have no idea who you are and you have no listeners and nobody's ever heard of you. And then after that, you can say, "Well, I've interviewed this guy," and you know, you can just kind of build off of that. But yeah, it's interesting that we have that thing because we do go to a lot of concerts, admittedly. But
yeah,
I wouldn't say we're music guys.
Okay, now at this point, I guess we are the music and voice actor.
Maybe. But we talk about video games more than we talk about either of those things. So it's
That's true.
Public perception is a weird thing.
So, and
You
I
have
think
to have a public to.
and a lot of the music seems to be out there in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Yes.
It seems like that's where they focus a lot of it in there.
This was definitely the year to have a courtyard room.
And we did. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
awesome.
we were able to get. We didn't have one last year, despite our best efforts. But we were able to get one this year, and you guys did as well.
And you probably can hear it being in the background in both of these segments.
Yeah, but that's been nice. I mean, you, obviously from the rooms with the acoustics, you can't always tell what anybody's doing. But it's very cool to not have to go down there. It's like, oh, I want to go to my room and rest. Hey, I can just open the door and there's a concert.
It is nice. I don't know if anybody else. I might be the only person that listens to him. They had the guy, Duane from Duane and Brando. He has a thing here called 8-Bit Adventures, and he did a lot of rap songs to various NES music things. I felt kind of bad for the guy because his concert was in the court garden like 2 in the afternoon, and that shit was hot. And if you've ever listened to his songs, he's very fast, very upbeat, very high tempo. So I'm like, I just hope the guy doesn't pass out.
Well, he seemed to do okay because that was when I was chilling in my room, recharging my phone. So I heard it was pretty good. I was impressed.
He has like an 8-minute Mega Man 2 rap, so he might have, if he had done that, he might have actually just died.
But it has been really interesting just, walking to your room and then just hearing music that's not yours just being played. And I noticed that a lot of con promoting, most every con promoter was in the promoting, had their own separate speaker system. Some louder than others, Mark and Drew, playing music. And it was really, see just how much random dance lines would appear. But the anime blues people really big about they'll play a song and next thing you know there's like 20 people in front of their booth dancing. Which I'm sure they're having fun, but it doesn't help congestion at all.
No.
It did seem this year it's kind of weird, and I guess I'm going to ask them about it tomorrow. Was that this security seems way more lax this year than I've ever seen it at MTAC.
My understanding, because I was talking to Christy on Friday, there's a lot of new staff this year.
That's also what I've heard, that there's a lot of first-year newbies at the helm.
Well, a totally new head of public safety.
Yeah.
So maybe they just maybe it may just take a little while to get there. But yeah, it seems like I've not noticed a lot of public safety presence. In previous years, regardless of my perceived level of their enforcement of rules,
They felt they were omnipresent.
Yeah.
Which was a good thing.
And in this case, not so much. And maybe it's a lot of it may just be having to do with the clothing, because for several years, they were very formally dressed.
Yeah,
You knew
they
who
had the
they
zoot
were.
suits.
Now there's a couple of the girls on public safety that were wearing like nice shirts and vests, and they were a little more visible. But there were quite a few people I'd walk up to, I'd look down, oh, there's a public safety person. If I hadn't looked directly at them, I never would have known. I mean, I really had, you're public safety?
I guess.
Yeah, if I hadn't seen their badges, basically.
Yeah.
They were not identifiable. Whatever. Good. I don't know if that's good or bad or what, but.
But then we'll just get all the bad out of the way. Boy, I really wish there was another hotel they can go to.
Yeah.
They're about ready to outgrow this one.
No, I think they've already outgrown it like last year.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the reasons, well, they may admit it, I don't know, maybe they do. I think one of the things going towards doing on Easter weekend was maybe to, artificially lower attendance.
That's pretty brilliant. That had not occurred to me. It didn't work.
It didn't work. It failed miserably.
Were you at opening ceremonies?
I was not.
One of the things Lucas brought up, last year there were 1,800 pre-regs for last year. This year on Easter there were 3,000.
Well, I think the part of that, Charlie has mentioned this a bunch of times. You just mentioned it about the idea of they're going to hold on Easter weekend and artificially deflate attendance. That's not how it worked, and this is my theory as to why it's twofold. The first reason is that it's Easter weekend, so it's a 3-day weekend for these kids. So your ordinary build is like Friday is good but kind of quiet. Saturday is crazy, and then Sunday it thins out, and it's
everybody's
a little bit,
hungover.
Yeah, it's a little bit more quiet than say Friday was. This year, Friday, it still wasn't as big as today, but it was way bigger than in years past, and today was insane.
Yeah.
My theory is that tomorrow it's going to be dead, because what parents are going to be able to do is it's like, well, it's a 3-day weekend, you can go Friday and Saturday, but you need to be back,
Sunday for church.
Yeah. So if you're trying to deflate attendance, the only thing you're doing by holding it on Easter is killing your deadest day already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the problem is, from everything I've heard from Lucas, is right now there just are really no other good options in the immediate area.
Yeah, that's what I've seen is apparently this is the biggest they've got, and if you go bigger, you're actually in a convention center.
Yeah.
You're not at a hotel that can host conventions. You're at a convention center with no hotel around it.
There was talk of Nashville building a convention
Yeah,
center, wasn't there?
There is talk.
MTAC is kind of like a
there are plans.
Of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's plans for what would literally be the in between this size and going to a convention center. That would be perfect for what MTAC needs.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been built yet.
Yeah, they're in an uncomfortable spot. It seems like at this point that I can the one thing I can say is it seems like they're doing the best with what they have.
Yeah,
they do. In the dealer's room, you can see every year they try something new, and unfortunately, it never quite works.
No,
the line is always huge and out the door.
Yeah. Well, it feels like they have to put their panel rooms in place, obviously, and then dealer's room and autographs and stuff like that get whatever is left.
Yeah, it seems like they keep looking for that formula that will make the dealer's room work, and they just haven't.
I just don't think there is one.
There may not be. Although I have to say, I was not necessarily opposed to the way they set it up in the fact that it was 3 separate rooms.
Kind of like Dragon Con does, although
it makes it like that on a smaller scale. Just unfortunately, the main dealer's room was what got the line.
Yeah.
And the other two didn't get a line, but didn't get as much traffic.
True, that was an issue. The interesting thing though was when they were waiting on when they were trying to get everything set up for the pre-show, the other 2 rooms were already open, and they went down the line, but you never saw anybody leave. And I do kind of feel bad for the dealers that were put in that quote unquote marketplace, because I kind of felt the same way. It really never seemed like they were getting the traffic, and their stuff. And it wasn't like they were any worse.
Yeah, it was the same quality of dealers.
Yeah.
And in fact, some of them had better wares than was in the main room. Yes. I mean, it was just one of the things where it was like they had so many slots, and I think they just filled as it went in. They just were like, well, we've got these other slots. They're the last ones to sign up or what have you, and let's put them in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like it was just more dealer rooms, not a different kind of dealer's room.
And the marketplace was actually nicer. The lighting was better, so you could actually see what people were selling. Like in my experience, when I first went in, I only went into the dealer's room so far. I only went in Friday for the pre-show, and thought, crap, it's dark. I have to get up on everything to see what the product is. And then when I went to the marketplace, I was like, oh, that's nice. and it had better airflow. It's like it's comfortable. It's bright. I can shop in here.
Like I think the only way they can fix that, what they need is another room that's as big as main events.
Yes.
That's what they need, and it doesn't exist.
No.
And that's their problem. And I don't think there is a solution. I think they're going to keep trying for new solutions, and they're going to do their best to try to find that magic solution. But I have a feeling that the best solution is for the hotel to build another building.
That's one thing I really do like about the MTAC staff is that they are always looking for better solutions, new solutions. They're never complacent.
No.
They're like, we'll just roll with it. It's fine the way it is. They're always looking to get better, and I think that says a lot about Lucas and Nico and Christy and all the guys who run it.
Oh yeah, like I said, we just want to get the bad away first, because we still really, really like MTAC. Don't let us get you wrong. You know, my only other issue with Dealer's Room was the fact that I couldn't find anything to buy. But that's my issue with Dealer's Rooms in general.
It's weird.
Not with just MTAC in specific at all.
I think there's a lot of factors that play into that because it seems like it's the combination of I've been to a lot more conventions now than when I first started out. So I'm kind of Dealer's Room savvy at this point. Then there's, eBay and Amazon and a billion other stores where you can get stuff online. And then there's the inherent, waiting in line for an hour and a half to look at crap that, during this recession, it seems like they're carrying the safe bets, which the safe bets aren't the stuff I buy. No.
Yeah, like my biggest problem is that the stuff I want to buy are for the shows they don't bring merchandise over for.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan.
Hell yeah.
You never see any Dragon Quest merchandise.
Or very, very little. Like you see the little magnets.
You see the magnets, and that's it. I'm a big fan of like Cross Game and Gun Guy Works. You never see any of those stuff there. It's mostly like Soul Eater, Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Full Metal,
Kingdom Hearts,
and you will see a lot of Nintendo stuff. But I already know a bunch of Nintendo stuff. I want, and you'll see like Final Fantasy stuff, but I want Dragon Quest stuff. It never happens.
Well,
although it's kind of funny about the whole thing you mentioned about Amazon.
Yeah.
I went to the Media Blasters booth, and I saw they had Morbito for the full box set for $40. I'm like, okay, well I've heard it's good. I can drop that money, but first, pull out my Android. I log into my Amazon app, search Morbito. Oh, Amazon's gone on sale for $30.
Yeah, there's some like the Voltron sets, and there's like one set I have from completing the whole series, like which includes the last of the shitty the car Voltron, which just wasn't as good. I have all the line, of course, but not that last one. They're selling for like $25. I know I can get on like Amazon or Right Stuff for 10 or 15.
Yeah.
Which I understand. Normally, most dealers are going to jack the price up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the game.
I can get it for literally half the price.
Yeah, it's. Now that said, manga usually is a decent deal.
Yeah.
Because since most manga like you buy at Barnes & Noble, it's going to be list price.
Yeah.
Amazon's going to be a little bit less, and they're going to sell it as deals for a little bit less. Because they can sell better in bulk, easier at conventions. And so that wasn't too bad. But nowadays, that seems what I tend to buy at Dealer's Room is I'll just fill out my manga collection there. Because they're also the best places to find hard to find or out of print manga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I really like, for instance, buying the figures. But even if I like the safe bet properties, which I've bought, Full Metal Alchemist stuff. I've bought Bleach stuff. I've bought Naruto stuff because one time or another I have liked those properties. Haruhi Suzumiya, that sort of stuff. But you get to the point where, okay, I've bought as much as I want.
Yeah.
Now when I go to the con, all I see is the stuff I already have as much as I want. I don't need any more of it.
I have figures of Rei Ayanami as a ninja and as a mage. You're gonna have to step it up because her as a shitty-looking mermaid's not going to cut it, man.
We need shitty-looking dinosaurs.
Damn straight.
With Rei Ayanami faces.
That would be so fucking badass.
Wow.
And then I want a scene of Getarobo ripping the head off. Like, that is what I want to see, people. And I expect that, I feel that because I've said this on a podcast, Japan, make it happen. Has it happened yet? Because it needs to have already happened.
I tell
Just
you
send
what,
a whole bunch of drugs to the toy companies.
Here's what you gotta do.
They will come up with that.
You gotta go to helpjapan.onepiecePodcast.com or to redcross.org or wherever you want to donate money for the relief efforts and send a ton of money their way so that they can get on making some of this weird ass shit.
Or I can get a dinosaur or Ayanami figure and start with a hot glue gun and start ripping off parts and making it myself with the worst, model kit ever.
You have to start somewhere is the point.
Photoshop. Make a drawing of that and send it to the OSMcast guys and
they'll make it.
And we'll forward it to Japan.
Yep.
The country. I'll just do Japan@japan.com. I'm sorry, Japan@japan.jp. and make sure they get that so they can
And
make
I
it.
hope no one finds out about USA at usa.com.us.
No, it's USA.gov.
Because then we're going to get a whole bunch of spam.
Probably from Nigerian princes looking to make our penises bigger.
But I will say, like I mentioned this in my previous segment, is that we noticed that we got every single panel we did had a full house.
That's
like
sweet.
every panel we had was packed, and other people were excited to be there. They loved the panel itself. I think I ran good panels, but they seemed to really enjoy it, and even people came back, and found me out on the floor and then said, "Hey, that was a good panel," and I kind of wonder if maybe it was so busy that there was plenty people needed stuff to do, and I just happened to have good stuff for them to come do, and it was. I wonder if that's sort of one of the other things, that there's just so many people. It kind of helps stuff them into rooms that exist.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, and I'm not going to I don't want to pump up any egos here, but OSMcast knows how to put on a good panel.
Yeah.
I've been into stuff at AWA, and you do quality work, and there's no substitute for that.
Yeah, and I said this to you before we started recording, but I'll go ahead and say it now. I've heard people where you weren't around. It was a completely different panel. And they were talking about your panels. They were talking about the Go in the Guy panel in particular. And it's like, I'm like, I gotta go find Basil and tell him.
Like we also noticed that it seemed like a lot of the more older people were showing up the panels, and all the younger people were out being doofuses in the courtyard, and
Right.
and maybe that's a good, interesting balance that I didn't expect to see. And it kind of makes sense that the older people would want something more in-depth to do, while the kids are just looking for an excuse to not be at home for the weekend.
I can see that, yeah.
Nick remains there still on our lawn.
Kids are having preteen orgies.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what to extrapolate from that, only that it exists.
Only that there's apparently enough fans at this convention for whatever you want to do, as long as you do a good job at it.
Including sex.
Yes.
And I do a good job at it.
He does.
Well,
not that I know.
That's my wife.
Well, she's obligated to say yes. Anyways.
Well, she's saying yes a whole lot of other places, too.
Okay, well, this is not ready for that kind of podcast. Thank you very much.
Hi, Jen.
Say that for Anime Roundup. Anyways.
Yeah. Another plug. Yay.
No, but it's been a really fun convention. I've really enjoyed myself. Of course, I enjoy every MTAC.
Yeah.
That's never been an issue.
Yeah.
No, it's so far from start to finish. They know what they're doing. I mean, they just do. They've done it for a long time now, and
at the top, they've got really good people.
Well, they do, and I'm really curious to see what will happen next year, because it's also very obvious that this is a transition year.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, there's a lot of first-year staffers, and so next year they're going to have this under their belts. They're going to be more seasoned. They're going to know what to expect. And they'll have made their mistakes this year that they know they have made, so they can correct it and be better for next year. So I'm really curious to see how MTAC now grows from this experience.
My hope is that they do, in fact, stick around and that they don't see another set of turnover, although it's likely to happen, at least in a few cases.
Well, with the first tier volunteers, that's where your most turnover is going to be. That's just natural. But if they can keep the mid and high level people, like you said, get the experience under their belt, for those that have just joined those levels or joined the convention for the first time, just every MTAC I go to, they do better. They tighten the ship. I don't know what to say. It's just
I am curious to see what they do with this whole. I know that this year is a music focus specifically because that's their theme.
Yes.
But I wonder if any of this music focus will now carry over to future MTACs. Like, I wonder if all the music stuff in the courtyard continues on for next year.
Well, they do a good job of it. It really separates them from other.
And that's something they've been building on. I mean,
and it's
Nashville. They've been doing the courtyard thing
for a few years now.
Yeah, since they've been since they've been at this hotel, And I think it works for them. I think it gives them another venue when the weather's nice to spread people out, to make things breathe a little better. Whether the music, I don't know. I mean, it being Nashville, if this worked for them, they will. I don't see them dialing back from, say, what the music was in the last few years. They might dial back from this year, obviously.
They have a crazy amount of bands. And what I'm thinking more is that, like, they might still have a couple of bands, maybe a band Friday and a couple bands on Saturday, but having a lot of that more indie, independent, geek level stuff, right?
I think so.
Out in the courtyard as the continuing music thing.
Having talked to Sunny, their music director, that seems to be really what she's going for. She wants to get the smaller acts, the regional bands.
Not necessarily people who are directly, not necessarily Japanese bands.
Yeah, I mean, she's really committed to this stuff, and has been. So, I mean, I don't see the quality dipping at all. The quantity will, I'm sure, but I really don't see the quality. I think they'll keep doing the courtyard thing.
But
yeah, if I remember what Sunny said exactly, she said something to the effect of, the goal was not, although they liked having, like the Susans and Qualify, those types of bands there, and thought they were great. What they really want to promote is like those regional bands, and not necessarily Japanese bands, because they want to be able to show sort of that diversity of and unity that's in the anime culture. It's like it comes from Japan, but there are American fans and Japanese fans and what have you. So I think that's really what they're looking at.
Yeah. But I think there's a line that you have to sort of, the tightrope you have to cross.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference where a guy who's rapping about old 8-bit Nintendo and Namco games, that is, he's rapping about Japanese video games. Or at the very least, while they may not be anime, it is at least Japanese media entertainment of some form or fashion that has influenced anime that we know today. And then, and that makes sense to have at an anime convention. Whereas they could easily go for, like, some random steampunk band that has absolutely nothing to do with anime or manga or Japanese culture at all. Does it have a really? My question is, does it have a place here at the Middle Tennessee Anime Convention, or is it yet something else they really should be saving for GMX?
That's a great question.
Yeah, should really be saving that for GMX, I think. But I think it would play if it's. I mean, because there are a lot of smaller acts that kind of get inserted in the schedule.
Well, yeah, but it's also this is also
there's room for it.
This also is their big show. If they're wanting to promote these smaller, more independent bands, MTAC is a much bigger show to promote them at than GMX is, and so that's another side to it. Like, do you and so it's that tightrope that that they're going to have to figure out how to walk to judge what actually is appropriate for this genre of convention and what they really want to make sure that people know exists. And I don't know how they're going to do that. That's probably a question I need to ask the MTAC people when I talk to them. But it's just one thing that came to my brain. I was talking to you guys, so segment 2 gets it first.
It'll be interesting because I think this is my theory, and this is not based on any conversation I've had with any of the staff. It's just my belief is that GMX right now is still very much in a formative state, and MTAC is the feeder system, if you will. It's the cash cow, and they use MTAC to subsidize GMX. So I think once attendance starts getting up and GMX is a little bit more established, I think that's when it will be easier for them to delineate, say certain acts and say, well, hey, you don't really fit here at MTAC, but you would be perfect for GMX, and we've got we're well established, and we've got this many people that came last year, and it'd be a great show for you. So.
And then the other side would be the fact that it's that courtyard. If they focus music in the courtyard, and they want that constant stream of music, that's a lot of music.
Yeah.
Which means they need a lot of acts to cover that.
Yeah.
And so, at that point, you no longer get to be quite so picky anymore.
True.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But
then again, if you don't like that type of music and and that's not what you're here at the con for. There's other stuff to do too. So
Let's do it. But I guess it could be honest, like be kind of annoying if you really don't want to listen to 8-bit rap, and you walk into your room to take a mid-afternoon nap, and you hear 8-bit rap.
That is true. That's
maybe that of course that might be something that could be also mediated by the hotel going, do you want a balcony or not? And people who don't want to hear the music, and they say because there's going to be a lot of music you play that you're going to be able to hear if you have a balcony room and not. But I don't know if they're thinking that far ahead. But then again, the hotel staff are wearing Technicolor neon wigs.
I've seen that.
Which, I guess is their way to try and fit in. And I'm sad to say it works.
Kudos to them for that.
For them to trying, because they're all in the nice outfits. All they really like, there's some random weird butler anime.
I gotta. The staff here has been really good. I've been at other, the hotel staff. I mean, because I've been at MTAC at other hotels where the hotel staff was not friendly.
I was about to say they were outright hostile about convention goers being here.
So I mean, the sad thing that this place isn't bigger because the hotel staff seems really cool about it. But going back to the whole courtyard thing, if you the only people that ever should really catch by surprise are the people that have never been here.
Right.
When it's been in this venue, any from that point on. So the first year, you freaking 8-bit rap. I didn't want to hear that. But after that point, you're like, okay, I know it's going to be out there, or there's a probability that it will. I'm going to ask for one of the outside rooms.
And on that note, let's point out we did have a lot of fun at MTAC this year.
Yeah.
It's been really good. Kudos to you guys, because I know some of y'all are going to listen to this. And you did a really great job. Our nitpicks and weird discussions aside, it was a good con.
Yes, it was.
And if you were here, I'm sure you'd agree. And if you weren't here, sorry you weren't here. I know there was SakuraCon in Boston, but y'all still missed out.
Right, yeah.
And now this segment has already gone on way too long, probably for my, producer is going to get pissed at me already. So we're going to stop it now. Thank you guys for stopping by.
And thanks for having us. Yeah.
And we'll come back with part 3.
Yay! Peace out.
So you're at least in spots for a decent seat, probably this panel. How does that feel?
Feels great to me. Good.
Very weighty.
Very weighty. So can I get some names, please?
Michael.
I'm Kayla. Cassie.
So how has the con been so far for you?
I'm loving it. It's better than KawaiiCon. It's been great, but it's been really hot.
I've been enjoying myself.
So what's been your favorite events so far this weekend?
Oh, God. I've loved everything. So
You got to pick. While you're deciding, what's your favorite?
I really loved the English panel. It was awesome. Perfect.
I'll accept that, even though the fact that I ran that panel, so now it feels like Semitism. But
yeah, I noticed you did run it, but I still liked it a lot.
Well, glad you did. So what was your favorite?
Probably the English one and the Shin Megami Tensei one.
Oh yeah, good point. Me too.
I'm kind of conflicted because I like Shin Megami Tensei a lot, but I also was running my Go Nagai panel at the same time. So I feel y'all are jerks for going to that panel instead of mine. But you went to my panel originally, so I can't really complain too much. So which voice actors are you looking forward to today?
Vic. I'm not really sure. I don't know a lot about voice actors, but...
Vic, Yuri, and Tara.
So what makes them special in your heart?
They're just good at, conveying emotion, and, they just bring a lot of life to the characters.
So do you ever figure out your favorite event?
No, I haven't. Go.
You're failing me here.
I know I am.
This is like...
It's early in the morning for me.
This is dead air now, thanks to you. Now my podcast is going to suck. Thanks a lot. No, I'm kidding. But I hope, what events are you looking forward to today?
Oh, gosh. I'm looking forward to the voice actors and then Vic's panel. Let's see. There's also another panel. Let me get out the...
While you're debating on your scheduling, what events are you looking forward to today?
The Pokemon party.
What are you expecting out of the Pokemon party?
Fun and Pokemon.
All right. What events are you looking forward to?
I haven't checked the schedule. I'm kind of looking forward to the Pokemon party just for, the sheer craziness of it all. So,
well, let's get to the schedule person here. And what events are looking like fanciful for you today?
The steampunk costuming.
Why is that?
I just think steampunk, I like it. So it's interesting how they convey like modern technology and the steam era.
Well, I hope you all continue to have a wonderful convention and enjoy waiting in line.
We will.
Oh, yeah.
It's an arduous process.
So how have you been enjoying the con so far?
It's fun. Yeah, I got stuff, and I like my stuff.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying the con, Mr. Freezy Pop?
It is awesome, dude. And I'm J-Rock style of a Naruto cosplay.
All right.
I'm enjoying this ice pop.
All right, so can I get some names?
Alyssa, Camber.
You can call me Madara.
All right, so what have you enjoyed so far about the con?
I like all the cool stuff and the panels and stuff. Yep. She's a talk bunch.
The best thing about any convention, just a chance to get away from reality and enjoy the time with all the fellow anime fans.
So what events have you enjoyed so far?
The Kuro Shitsuji panel, we like that one a lot.
Very much so.
Well, what about it did you like?
The people were really awesome, and it was really funny.
They answered questions in character, and that was awesome.
So did you gain any new insights to the series thanks to this panel?
Yeah.
What was your biggest new insight that you now arrived from learning about blacks and butlers?
I didn't know there was a musical for it before. Yeah.
Was it pretty terrible? Most anime musicals are.
Yeah.
So are there many events that really caught your eye as you've been here so far?
Truthfully, the only event I kind of participated yesterday was the Risque cosplay that happened at 1 o'clock. And I'll tell you what, when I left that, I was kind of sick to my stomach.
Why is that?
There was a fat dude stripping up there, and that's pretty enough to bulge anyone's eyes out of their socket.
So what events are you looking forward to later on today besides this voice actors panel?
Wait, I have to check.
Well, I'm actually part of a panel, Konoha Corner Livecast, the Konoha Corner Podcast Live. I gotta get some autographs, and I'm looking forward to the Pokemon party at 6:30.
The Italian Pokemon panels we really want to go to. Hi.
Are you sad that it's not a Hitalia Pokemon panel?
That would be really awesome if there was a conjoined one.
Would you like to hear Jury talk about, like, Pikachu or something?
Yeah, and of course the famous I Choose You, China by America.
Well, I hope you all continue to have a wonderful time at the convention.
Thank you.
So you're nearing the back of the line. How does it feel?
Which line?
This looks like the voice actress line. Did you realize you were in a line?
No, I did not.
Yeah, this totally looks like a line because it's wrapping around all the way around.
Nice.
So are you in line?
Not really in line, but the back of the line is always fun. Yes. That's where you get to hang out.
All right, so let me get some names.
My name's Lee.
Marty.
Blythe.
So how have you enjoyed the con so far?
It's been entertaining. We've been here about 30 minutes.
It's very, very interesting and fun to see everything.
All right, so what are you looking forward to today then?
The Kingdom Hearts game show.
Yeah, the same thing, Kingdom Hearts game show.
Same thing.
So what about Kingdom Hearts is so exciting and why you want to go to a panel about it?
We like the storyline.
You could say I'm learning because I watch her play it.
It's my favorite game.
So through the various games of Kingdom Hearts, they sort of vary on the focus on Disney stuff to Square stuff. Which side do you really wish they would focus on more lately?
Probably Square stuff.
I like the Disney stuff.
I just wish they had more on Sora's story. Like,
So are you getting pissed that every time they have to do Kingdom Hearts game, it's not 3?
A little bit.
No comment.
yeah.
So out of all the latest crazy revisions on like 3 on DS and PSP and whatnot, which is one that you enjoyed the most so far?
I like Birth by Sleep a lot, but Kingdom Hearts 2 is by far the favorite.
Really the DS.
They did blah 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 by blah 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 day. It was a weird like Organization 13 thing. Then they just did Recoded, which is more or less Kingdom Hearts 1, I'm told, but done on the DS.
Yeah.
I don't remember the question.
Which are the latest spin-offs from the original 2 games have you enjoyed the most so far?
Probably Recoded.
Well, I hope you all continue on having fun at the convention. Thank you. So y'all two were almost the first people online. How's it feel to get stepped one upon?
Pretty good.
So you're not angry that they just slightly beat you to the punch?
Yeah, but I've never been in an actual line that I'm near the front, so that's pretty good.
So what are some names here?
Huh?
Names.
Laura? I'm Gretchen.
So how has the con been for y'all today?
Good. It just started today, but I was here yesterday for Vic's concert and the MTAC
Virgins Virgins panel. That was last night. Yeah.
So is this y'all's first MTAC?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So how have you enjoyed it so far?
I've enjoyed it. I've been to like 10 cons now, and this is like a really good size one, and it's like it feels intimate at the same time.
I've enjoyed it so far. I'm just not looking forward to the infamous crowding because I hear this hotel is getting too small for the event. So
what other cons do you typically attend?
Well, I'm from Chicago, so I usually go to ACEN, and I've been to the one in Atlanta before. A couple of small cons. I've gone to AX, so.
I've been to AWA 3 times because I live in the Atlanta area. I've also been to some Florida cons like EXP, AFO. I've also been to Tecosha Con in Pittsburgh.
So what's it about conventions that really, presses your buttons?
It's about like meeting people who have the same interests. Really, like it's a nice atmosphere, and like people are like always friendly, willing to help.
The guests are a big draw, and also if my friends are coming, that's also a plus, so we can hang out, because I rarely ever see her, so.
So, well then, how did y'all two meet, since one of y'all's from Atlanta, one of y'all from Chicago?
Do you want to answer?
We are fans of Vic Mignogna, and we met through his fan club, the Risen Bowl Rangers, and we became officers of the group, so we like to see him as well whenever we can and help him out.
And meeting the other members of the group, meeting them, and it's just like a really fun thing to do. Like, I never get tired of it.
So are there any other events you're looking forward to coming out later on this evening or tonight or later on today?
I don't have a schedule. She has a schedule.
The late night con stories panel, those are always fun.
Well, I hope you all continue on to having wonderful adventures and conventions and enjoy the rest of the con.
Thank you.
And we're back with part 3 of our MTAC 2011 Goes to 11 extravaganza. That's where we actually talk to people who actually help run this joint. So with me we have...
I'm Lucas. I'm the con chair of MTAC.
I'm Nicholas. I'm the Senior Director of Public Relations.
And of course, you all know me. I'm Christy, the Director of Media Relations.
And so, yeah, this is the 11th year. We've covered it for the past 3 or 4 years now. So people who listen to this thing should know MTAC. So I won't deal with the history and stuff because I think we've done that the past 2 years. So what were some of the issues that you knew that you were going to have going into it this year? How did you solve them, and how do they work out in the end?
Lots of music. The thing about concerts, they're sort of organic. Bands that have a feel for it will play a little long, or maybe play a little short, or they change up the set, or they move somewhere that they weren't going to be. And so we knew going in that it would be very complicated to have so many different bands. And we took as many measures as we could and just rode with it for the rest.
We knew there was going to be issues, just the dates and the venue. We had a lot of complaints when we did switch this year on Easter weekend from some of our attendees saying they couldn't make it. But considering we have had an over 1,000 member increase to our convention, last year we were around 4,000. The natural flood that we had in the first May weekend hurt that a bit, but we raised over to now at 5,000 at least. So that has helped, but it's also definitely shown some continued growing pains in the venue.
I know that the dealer's room is always a chimerical object for MTAC, where it has morphed and changed over the years. How does this actually work out for y'all, you feel, this year?
This year, it's we added 2 other rooms, slightly smaller rooms, a couple halls away from the main dealer room. This year, we can actually that way get more dealers, get some more of our usual stock as well. The new people who have been waiting on our list for a while, we've tried them out a bit. And that's worked pretty well. We're still trying to get the word that we have more than just one technical dealer's room, and because most people still just go to the same place it is. And that's a continual thing we do have to know we have to work on. But overall, from attendees I've talked to and the dealers in those rooms I've talked to, they've rather enjoyed it. So that's good to know.
What effect do you think of having such a music-focused convention is going to spill over into next year and future MTACs to come?
When we poll follow-up questions to our pre-registrants, we're going to try to find out what led people to register more. Obviously there's some loss and gain with the holiday weekend, and I'd like to be clear on, was it the music? Was it Easter? Was it, all these other factors? But if the answer is, was it the music, then that's going to indicate to us that we really need to try to keep a pretty big musical infusion. We've already had several consecutive years where we've committed to music because of our hometown, but the increase of music now may have made even more of an impact, and it might be something to keep more present so that we kind of are that anime con that happens to have the most musical tint.
Now, something that was different, I know it was in years previous, but was really pro this year was all the music in the courtyard. And because it was almost nonstop once it started until the night when it ended. How did that work out for you?
It's been interesting. This media suite that we're currently in recording is right outside the courtyard, so it's been a bit inconvenient at times, but most people I've talked to really enjoyed it. If you need quiet, to request a room that's not facing the courtyard in the first place. So, but everyone who's been out there, who've been listening out on their balconies, they always have something to do during the day, even when there's just downtime. There may not be a panel they want to go to. They already hit the dealer room. They can just go and chill in our courtyard. And luckily, as opposed to last year, it hasn't really been raining, so they've been actually able to go out there.
And in addition to that, I think it gives some of the people who don't quite yet have VIP status but are the local groups and the local bands, the freestylers out there, if you got any recordings of them, I was in love because it's something a little bit different, but I think that gives them a chance to showcase themselves at our event and then maybe work their way up to main stage status later.
Now, with as many musical acts as there were, and this is technically an anime con, how do you walk the tightrope of, say, having, I know there was one guy out there who was rapping about old Nintendo games and arcade games, which definitely has at least a Japanese bent to it. It's not quite anime, but but video games are very influential on anime culture and in otaku culture today, so that makes sense. But what if, a steampunk band wanted to perform instead? How do you figure out that tightrope to walk?
Well, it's a little bit extra for us because we have the 2 conventions to put people in. So, steampunk we would move over to put it in GMX because it's more universal geek. But fundamentally, with MTAC, if you're in the ballpark and it's part of the geek culture, there's a good chance you can get involved. So the bands may not be singing about anything relevant, but they're entirely comprised of anime fans that are local, that are good enough to be featured, and we put them in the courtyard setting. Sometimes they're definitely on theme, and we're kind of a springboard for them to be able to get into more of the industry itself. But I think that's really the fundamental staple. Like if you're part of the geek vibe, the geek culture, then you're likely to get a spot. But like if we had a uniformed band of Trek-oriented guys,
right?
Not that I'm endorsing filking. That kind of thing. We might say, well, GMX is probably better for you. Because it would be a much more relevant audience. But I think that's really the thing. It's about the culture. It's about what people are into just as much as what makes them into it.
Well, I can see it also being an issue where I know MTAC is right now the big show, whereas GMX is still finding its legs and it's still through its initial growing pains. And so for a lot of these bands and indie groups, it's a much bigger crowd to play at MTAC than it would be at GMX. So I can see why there might be some bands that are not quite as on target, but you still really want to promote them. Where MTAC would be a much better venue, just right now as GMX still doing its growing thing.
Right. Yeah. And I think steampunk is a good example of the way you can kind of go either way, like whatever works for everybody. And then that Star Trek thing just wouldn't really fit too well.
Right.
And there's a lot of room for that. And there's already a lot of crossover outside of music. I mean, you've got some costuming people that kind of play in both ballparks. There's a whole lot of people that do stuff here that may be a little more background and ends up featured bigger at GMX or vice versa.
Something else I noticed, only because I'm a presenter as well as media for the con, and I didn't realize it until I got here, there was a new rule for presenting where you had to have 3 hours worth of material in order to obtain a presenter badge. Which before, I think, last year, if you had one panel, you still got a presenter badge. What was the reasoning behind the switchover from one to the new policy?
Well, really the changeover is last year was basically the same policy. The adjustments made is it has to be 3 hours across more than one panel. So if you have one panel that's 3 hours, you still need another one. And the other changeover is the fact that the presenter badges only go to the applicant, the person who submits the panel. Yeah, you could if you put all your friends on the application, they don't get the passes, you do. The main reason for that is because we do have a lot of group presentations and a lot of people who try to be group presentations and really just getting their friends in and trying to get them a free badge. And we had a problem with that both at previous GMX and MTAC. And we were just trying to really cut down on that, try to get people who are really presenting to get the presenter badge. And if you want to present, you submit your panels, or you could just buy a badge and go to the event.
Yeah, for us, it also keeps people, where they deserve to be. If you're a presenter, you deserve to have that be a little something special. And if everybody can finagle that and get a badge, then it's not as special to be a presenter. And a lot of times we go and we do panels at conventions, and depending on what kind of convention and how big it is, it's a different kind of badge. We might get press, or we might get sponsor, or we might get dealer, or we might get guest. But all those groups need to be somewhat exclusive, and it's cheapening that person's credibility. And in a lot of cases, we like to manufacture a track record for somebody that really can do big things by letting them get into the course of things and maybe perhaps become a guest and then move on to other cons and guest there. And so it's really nice to be able to see what's really going on. Are you and your 30 friends all really presenting, or is it like two of you and you got a whole bunch of people there with microphones just to go, oh yeah, what he said, and that's, we want to keep the quality up, and we want to keep the designation quality as well.
Another really big change compared to previous years is security. Like in MTAC's previous, it felt like an omnipresent force of nature that was there, and this year it suddenly felt opposite, where it felt non-existent.
Yeah, I missed the ever-present security telling me to get the hell against the wall. I missed them this year.
Actually, I was walking through the hallway earlier, and our director of security got a standing ovation from the line that was waiting to get into the main room for absolutely no reason. And to me, I think that reflects very well upon us, because we have had complaints in the past about the harshness of security. I think we're heading in a good direction for that. But there's always going to be little bumps in the road?
Well, it's a new. Well, it's not entirely new. We had basically an interim director to bridge from our old key team to our new key team, and basically it's people from the past who were like third or fourth tier down that have been around for the year of interim time, being given these management positions. But by pulling them up, you empty out those ranks and you have to refill from the bottom. And we've had a history where the previous leadership really wasn't interested in volunteer participation as much as we'd like, but more keeping that tighter group of people. So it resulted in a little bit too much power maybe, but also a lack of volunteers. So we had to like rebuild volunteer interest, because when people come to volunteer MTAC, it's like already urban legend. Well, you can't get on public safety, forget about it. Now that's changing, and we're accepting people in, and not every job has to be, qualified with a certificate and the ability to deal with real security guard, quote unquote, issues. Sometimes you're really just watching a door, and a volunteer can do that if given a little bit more training than the average Joe. So.
I've heard, I don't know how true it is, that there's a lot of first-year staffers this year. I know this is a very long-term con. How did you work with a brand new influx of a gigantic crowd of noobs, as it were?
Every now and then there's always such an influx. People leave for various reasons. Either they're just tired, they don't have the time, or also in a few of these first-year cases, some of them are just first year in that position and they just switched areas. And it's always a learning experience dealing with that. Some people, they've never worked in that area and they're just interested in it and they want to continue. We basically try to foster their interest, make sure that the upper management, the people who are over them that have been there, try to teach them and basically make them learn and help them grow into their positions so that they could start to flesh out and expand on what they do. We basically just try to help everyone out in their jobs.
All right, well, that was a bunch of, more sober questions. So what I wanted to know is, what are some of the, really big high moments that really made the con worth it for you this year?
Well, the ones I can actually talk about. I'll be honest.
This is public. Remember that.
I'll be honest. There were a lot of places where I saw some of those newer people or these newer ideas really play out, and that's been kind of a big one for me. When I'm able to see, we waited forever for all these different tech vendors to get everything put together in the puzzle that is our main stage. But then once it's up and running, it's completely gorgeous, and having real justification from other people. Usually this name is lost on the age group that's into anime cons, but Mark Slaughter is a Nashville-based now musician, big in the 80s with the band Slaughter, and he was involved in the documentary on the Nashville flood that we screened on Friday. And having him stand in the main room and look at the stage and say, I didn't really know what to expect, but you guys really do the real thing here, and I would love to work with you guys anytime. That means a lot. So those are the kind of highlights, because for me it's been a couple of years of having to let go and let more and more people do more things, which is why more and more people are new. Seeing success in those new things is both relief and a thrill at the same time.
I would also have to agree with that. I've had several new people in my department, either people that are just new in the department in the convention at all, or they just transitioned over, and they have really just outdone themselves in every aspect that I can think of, to the fact that I'm wondering if I'm doing something wrong because I'm not doing something at the time. It's weird when I have free time to actually finish panels and do all my presentations. But I've been really impressed to see my advertising director, my new customer service people just do a great job, get all of our ads, just bust ass and run around, do all the work. And it gives me time to do some of the work I need to do that I've been neglecting as well. And I also just love from hearing a lot of people that we've had a really successful year. I've talked to several people who I even know were critical of past years who have come up to me and have been really impressed and pleased with all the panels they've went in. We've had full rooms on almost all of them. Everything has been mostly on time. It's been a really tight ship this year, and that has impressed me the most.
I also think there's been a lot of high volume, at least I've noticed, I've been encountering, of people just walking up and saying, thanks for doing this, we've had a great time this year. there's definitely this year a more high volume of people stopping me to say, this is a good show, we enjoyed ourselves, what have you. And I'm hoping that that's universal, that it's not just because I'm high profile, that other people are getting that, because I want all those people to be able to catch the other 74 people that we have and say the same thing to them.
To add to that, one of the good things that makes me feel good is to see this man, Lucas, actually smiling at a convention, as well as a few of our other senior staff members. For me, MTAC is a working vacation. I spend a lot of time working on my career, and I'm always on the go. So when I come here, it's kind of really nice to be able to go, I can hang out with my friends and still, do what I love and be around the people that I never get to see. And this year, with the new ideas working out so well, I feel like we've all had a better time to enjoy ourselves as a family, if that makes any sense. Plus, we party like it's 1999.
Which is, oddly enough, the first year.
But I did notice that the crowd did seem really, really hot this year, as every single panel I ran was, in fact, full to like the brim. I've had people come to me, trying on the floor, thanking me for the panels that I ran, so I can definitely say that's not an isolated incident.
And the panel presenters I've talked to pretty much all had said the same thing.
Every presenter I've talked to, most of the panelists, my own panels, I've had people come up. Everybody has been doing pretty well. We've had hiccups. Occasionally people haven't been able to make it, or they got sick or something, and we had to cancel the panels. And that always happens in conventions.
I've seen one or two technical glitches, but usually get sorted out.
That always helps. We have a really on top of it programming logistics section now, and they pretty much will run to your room and set it up for you right now if there's any problem. Our programming department has been on top of their game all weekend long, and that has been one of the most impressive aspects of this year.
I did notice that, I don't know what it means, but I did notice, looking at the panels and looking outside panels and stuff, it really seemed like the older fans sort of attended more of the panels this year, whereas all the younger fans who were hanging out in like the courtyard and in the various lobbies. I don't know if that sort of balance just sort of was, serendipity, or something that comes next year, but I don't know what it means, but I noticed that it was there.
I've noticed younger fans in my panels and in other panels, but those are probably the fans that are also more likely to actually hang out in the courtyard and whatnot. But we have a good variety of ages, races, genders, creeds, everything here, just basically all intermingling. And that's one of the best things about conventions is you can just get so many different people hanging out and getting to know each other and having fun because of this, animated medium. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, I've noticed so many different people just being on stage or in front of a group in all the panels, and it's been really awesome to see that every event I've been at this year.
It's also I think it definitely is a age gap thing. We talk a lot, of course, about the development of conventions and the socialization of the groups of geeks that you see together, and it's come more and more to light that conventions are about the social experience, and the conventions that adapt or are already there are seeing this liveliness, and some of the more old school stuff just kind of stays where it is because it is here's a panel, here's a panel, here's a panel, and here's a bunch of beer, and we go to sleep, and here's another panel, and here's another panel, and that's the old model.
Sometimes that's fine.
Yeah, sometimes it's great, and that's why for quote unquote us old guys, it tends to be panel, beer, and it's just an age group thing. It's from being born and raised on Star Trek conventions where where my age group tends to be versus coming into this stuff. We've been doing this for 11 years. You could be 21 at MTAC and have first come to us when you were 10 years old, and you've been raised in this more social, more colorful, open, bouncy environment. So it depends on really those factors that get people in there. But what we do know is it's a social experience, and almost everything we do now bases around will people do this and with their friends, and will it be more conversational.
I've noticed a lot of people, I've heard people talk where nowadays they seem to say that a lot of kids back in the day, their first concert actual concerts, whereas nowadays their first concerts are the concerts held at anime cons. And I know this is the Music City. MTAC is a more music focused conventions than some, especially this year. How does that feel as a entertainment provider for this convention? Who's handling this, where the new big thing to listen to bands is now your convention than actual concerts.
It's an interesting proposition. It's harder to fathom being as privileged as we are here to have like a gazillion places to go see music. But in a lot of cases, you're not going to catch a lot of these acts. Though we see, P-Lander Z and folks tour through town a couple times a year. And one has to wonder, is that because there's a focal point with the presence of an event like this that they know, oh, well, those fans travel there for that convention. They probably travel there for the show. So I don't know. I can't apply it to my experience, and that's kind of a new notion. I haven't actually dug into that. I'm not sure, Nico's got, 6 years gap here? So Nico's got a little bit less age.
You know what my first concert was? The Ninja Turtles live show. Back when it was at Starwood in Antioch. Wow. I'm not really a musical person, so I don't really go to musical venues that much. It's not my fandom per se, but I think this does make a lot of sense. We have a lot of youth, as we talked about in the previous question, at our show, and it's no added cost to go to our concerts as opposed to any of our other events. Everything else, it's all just the badge cost. So it makes a lot of sense, as much as we try to foster a family event, particularly during the daytime as well, that these are their first concerts, and then they get to realize that these musical acts do stuff other than conventions, and there are other musical acts too, and then they can break out and do that. It's a logical starting point, and it's a really neat one to see emerging.
And I think it also works in the opposite way, because we feature, some of these local bands who obviously are going to promote themselves as much as they're going to promote us. Hey, they're playing at the end last weekend. Next weekend, we're going to be at this awesome show, MTAC. You don't know it, go to the website. And I think just from that, we get a lot of cross-promotion. I think people who wouldn't generally be pulled into this scene otherwise kind of come for the music, and then they go, wow,
wacky costumes.
This is an amazing show. I want to do this every year.
It also educated me a lot to see the music infusion, because we had the Proto Men several years ago, and I had never heard of them. And I thought they put on a great show, and then I noticed, wait a minute, they're everywhere. I see stickers and shirts and stuff, and over the years I'd see more, wait, they're really growing. Then you look at their website, and they're starting to really branch out in the area and region. And then we have them back, and it's kind of it's a shoe-in for a good show that people will attend, because they've got their own thing going that I wasn't exposed to and might not have been without the convention. And then even knowing a couple of friends that came to the show, and they've gone to every show together, the #1 fans and all this stuff, and one of them's moving, and so this is their last show to go to together, and they caught it here, not a club, but at our show. That's really cool.
So finally. Looking forward to next year, what are one of the few things you want to build on or change up for MTAC 12?
You got any ideas you want to put first? Because I know the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Well, as far my department is public relations, so all of my stuff is pretty much mostly before con. The main things I would personally work on would be, just trying to improve our customer service to make sure our attendees can get the most reliable information they can at the convention, and try to make sure that our media suite here and our new photo suite, which we also have, which is a feature, we have a room now in the main concourse area where our convention goers can go get their photos taken by a professional photographer who's really fantastic, and they get their prints. They could buy prints, and their photos go on our website. So if they want our web copy, they could just link to our gallery. Basically, I just want to promote getting people interested in the convention, getting people more involved in the convention, and us trying to help them and make this the best show it could be. Because I think we've done that this year, and we can always do it better the next year.
My personal goals for 2012. obviously are going to revolve around having more time to spend on the convention. I feel like I kind of put MTAC on the way back burner for, outside, real, everyday life. I would like to see this media suite be used in a different way next year. We're going to make it a little harder to gain press badges. There's going to be an application process next year. You guys probably won't have anything to worry about, but you guys are our regulars now, so you're part of the media family. But I just want to branch out, maybe start trying to work with more local news stations. That's something that I need to do some personal research on, because this is not my field of expertise in the outside world. It's what I do here. And then just doing what I do and having fun and doing what I can do to help the convention grow.
Well, the aforementioned elephant, of course, is the venue. The VIPs and the venue are my focused area of work, and then as the chairman, I'm really the face, but also and more than likely than not is the lightning rod for the organization. And over the years, it's been so busy, and you don't get a handle on, I did this way. Then that, the first person that sees that, they tell 3 friends, it becomes some story. So I've been battling this little PR image beast out there, and I've had a lot of great help from people, and I'm also sharing a lot more of the spotlight with people. So personal wise, that's improve my relationship with the fan community, so that they don't think, he won't listen, he's too busy. I've had a lot of great interactions with fans recently. I've took 6 months sometimes to reply to some emails, but I've gotten to really get in there and talk with people, and it's not something that I'm above doing at all. So I'm looking forward to being able to do more of that. And then the venue, we obviously want more space. We have to give a lot of credit to this particular venue. The Sheraton works well with us. They've housed this event for 4 years. Every time the event steps up to a new level of crazy, they take it in stride and work with it. It's difficult. The real world, quote unquote, is not prepared for an anime convention. So this time around, you got a newer, bigger crew of hired security by the hotel. They don't know what they're getting into. First night was a little crazy because they expect trouble. Anime fans are not trouble typically. By the second night, they were digging in and loving it, because they realized, these are good people. There might be 6 people out of the $5,000 that aren't, doing the right thing, and we can be here and support this group and help with that. But we do want a little more room. We just have to find additional space that's nearby that will work with us on the same level, or maybe we'll entertain other space that's bigger. And then of course we're all sitting around hoping to find new downtown space like the Music City Center, or spaces that free up because of that. So there's a lot of adventure to be had in that area. That's going to be a big area of work for me. VIP wise, I think we're fine. We actually keep having to do less work because Nashville has a name for itself, and we keep getting things come to us because of Nashville, and we've really attached to our town. So we get a lot of that, we want to come to Nashville because it would be interesting, or we've got family there, believe it or not. And those little twists and ties. We're going to whip out a guest list for GMX that's almost all based on networking, not really cold calling agents, but saying, you know who? Okay, cool, ask them if they want to come to the show. And that's really neat. It's nice to be able to build those networks, and this year was particularly easy, I think, with music, to get people to want to do it.
Well, thank you very much. The con has been a blast. It has been a lot of fun, and thank you very much for talking to us. And that's MTAC. It went to 11, and probably a little bit further.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome date. May 2nd, 2011. Awesome topic. God damn it, Richard.